Do you think anything is possible inside of Sin City, Las Vegas? I believe what God is doing is that he's bringing people together under the spirit of unity to display that anything and everything is possible through him. This is Las Vegas United. Well, hello and welcome to Las Vegas United. My name is Dada and I have the pleasure of being your host. And here's the deal. Hey, if you're tuning in on King 17, we want to welcome you. If you're watching on YouTube, once again, welcome to you as well. If you haven't already done so, I'm asking if you're watching from YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We want to make sure that you're receiving all the notifications whenever we post something here from CTN. Now, without further ado, we have a special, I have a special guest with me tonight, even much more. Here's the biggest part. He wants to talk about an event that's coming right here to your city because this is what this show is all about. This is all about Las Vegas United, seeing what God is doing inside of your city. Without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Mike Bartell. What's going on, up, my friend? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's like pastor, bishop, just I go out and find them, Mike Bartell, man. Dude, I am super excited that you are here with us tonight.
Hey, it's great to be back. I know we were together around, I think it was Super Bowl time.
Yes,
a lot of great things going on in Vegas that people can be a part of.
Oh,
sure.
Man, come on. Now, speaking of being part of in Las Vegas, I mean, some people may have seen our show before. Some people may not. Some people are familiar with you. Some people are not. No matter what, can you just let our audience know, like, who the man Mike Bartell is?
I'm just a minister trying to serve. God called my wife and I. This is our 20th year where we've been working full-time with issues of human trafficking. Started an organization called Free International, which stands for Find, Restore, Embrace, and Empower. So we mobilize the faith community to find those who are being exploited and provide services and help on the backside to see their lives restored.
Yeah, come on, man. And it's one of those deals. I love the story and how you and your wife got involved into doing this very thing, going out and finding our lost children, the ones that they think that no one's looking for them, but there are many people looking for them. Can you let our audience know, like, how you and your wife got involved into just Free International, going out and finding our lost babies?
Well, we'll Cliff Notes the story, but my wife and I were campus pastors at Purdue University, and she actually ran the International Center there, which was the cultural hub of 142 countries we had there.
Oh, wow.
So it was in the middle of our interacting with different PhD students and other people from around the world that they began to tell us when they went back to their country, here's what we want to do. We want to be able to help my family, who, one African man in particular I was talking to, he had nephews that had been sold into labor camps, nieces as young as 8 sold into the brothels.
Right.
And he saw this as an opportunity that he could go back and help his family. And that just started our journey. It's like, what?
Right.
What's going on in your country with your family? And we just started digging and trying to find out, hey, what's going on with these issues of slavery? And we're doers, so at some point you just can cram your head full of only so much information before you go, hey, what can I do? What can we do? And so went to India for a few years, worked there with another organization. We come back and tell those stories. And the people here were like, same questions we had. Well, what can we do? How do we get involved? And so we started Free as a response to that and finding ways to be able to find those who are being exploited right in our own communities. When I lived in India, the people of India would talk about Las Vegas and the trafficking and the sexual exploitation that was happening here. Having never left India, right? We've kind of exported a certain frame of mind to the world. Sin City, anything really goes here.
What happens in Vegas stays in
Vegas.
Vegas.
What happens here stays here.
Yeah.
And so the dynamic we've pushed out has really caused a lot of exploitation of young ladies being brought to town, but also our own kids in our own city here.
Yeah.
And I think over 90% of all the traffic victims minors that were found last year in Las Vegas were Las Vegas kids themselves. And so, we want to do something about that. So we found ways to on-road churches to get involved, to find kids.
Right.
That's what we're doing around the Super Bowl time. We got another big search coming up here in Vegas during Formula One.
Oh, wow.
Last 2 big searches, we found, I think, 44 kids out of the
man,
ones we were looking for.
Man, we got to praise the Lord up on that one, man. Like to find to find one is a big deal. I mean, sometimes, I'm sure, because me and my wife have done a big search with you before. Yeah. It really, sometimes it feels like finding a needle in a haystack, but it's like, what I love about you, bro, is that you're willing to get into the haystack.
Yeah. You can't find that needle unless you start, digging, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we hear all the time. I know that's something that stuck out to you is people always ask, man, how do you find so many kids? And we don't just work with kids, but, the big search is about searching for those kids.
Absolutely.
And how do you find so many kids? And the simple answer is, well, we were looking for them, right? We get the story in Scripture about the shepherds willing to leave the 99 to go find the one who's in need. We're trying to flip that a little bit to go, how do we as sheep mobilize other sheep to be a part of that search for the one, right? So we don't just have the shepherd looking for the one, although we call our coalition of groups that do that the shepherds, right?
Yep.
But the shift behind that is, how do we mobilize the found to go look for the lost? And that's what the big search, that's what the find piece of Free International is all about.
I love you said, how can we mobilize the found to go and find the lost? Like, I don't know. That really stuck to me right there. It's like, because that's really the essence of what you're doing. You guys are saying, hey, how can we truly how can we be the feet and the hands of Jesus to our community? Not just saying, okay, well, let's pray to where it's like they kind of show up like Peter did, like knocking at the door, right? Yeah. It's like, no, we got to go out and find them. We have, like you said, we can't find somebody if we're not looking for them.
Yeah, I always talk to people, like, you ever wonder why God didn't just, when Dada said yes to Jesus, why he didn't just go, awesome, you got it right. Great job. Let me pull you right out of here. You win. The reality is because he wishes none should perish, right?
Yes.
So his church, which we're a part of, capital C, local church, as far as, the pragmatics of reaching neighborhoods, he left us all here, called us out of darkness into light, so that we might be light to this world. He found us so that we might then become the searchers to look for those who need to be found as well.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And so here's a part, like, you have your, like, I love you so much, bro. And like, I love everything that you do. And so, like, I know that you're part of an event that's coming to Vegas.
Yeah.
I want to kind of talk about the nuts and bolts of that, like how it kind of started, and then how people can kind of like either participate in it, volunteer for it, like everything. So like, what is this event that's actually coming to Vegas?
Yeah, man, it's a short notice event. I mean, I got a call just a few weeks back, actually, from a partner organization we work with called Convoy of Hope. And Convoy of Hope called and said, hey, there's this guy, his wife is on our board of directors, did an event back in the day with NBA teams all over the United States.
Right.
And it was really sports evangelism, right? How do we bring the stories of those who've been found, who are playing in the NBA, bring them into our schools and our neighborhoods and places so that kids can hear, the stories they have, right? Some of these young men, were abused in the home. Some of them are, and how even through all that, God found them. Here they are, just killing it in the NBA and doing well with life, telling their stories. And so it was a pretty big deal about 20 years ago, this event. They were in Madison Square Garden. They were all these big arenas. Big name players would come and tell their testimony, David Robinson and all these different people. And so it was a big deal. In fact, when I went to Google them, having heard about this and that they were interested in coming to Vegas, it was on the NBA's website. It was on ESPN's website. So even though it was a very evangelistic event, that's the centerpiece to it. There was everybody was promoting it because it really made a huge positive impact on the city. So fast forward to now, they said, hey, a lot of the NBA chaplains, I think there was about 16 of them, had talked to Steve, who was the founder of that, and said, hey, we'd like to get that going again.
Right.
In fact, let's look at Summer League in Las Vegas, right? And so Steve called me, said, hey, you think we can pull this off? I'm like, well, I know a lot of great pastors in town. Let's sit them all down and see if we got the bandwidth to do that.
Right.
And sure enough, it's off to the races, right? So what this event's going to be is that there's kind of two pieces to it. One is the centerpiece event, high energy. It's kind of like an all-star weekend event, right? The gorilla from the Phoenix Suns is coming up with a dunk team. There's going to be a dunk team. Kingdom Music's coming up, doing an amazing concert.
Listen, I'm gonna let you know.
Lay him up right there.
Like when I heard that, I was like, sign me up right now, right? Kingdom Music with Brian Trejo from Victory Outreach, if I'm not mistaken, and what he's doing in just the music industry. When I heard that name, I was like, because like. It's some things that sometimes you read about people, you hear their voice, you hear their heart, and there's one thing about this individual, Brian Trejo, is that like he doesn't allow himself to get into foolishness, right? I mean, his music is convicting. Like you listen to it, it's like that's one guy. Like if you're listening to him. And you're like you're kind of like
stories in there.
Man, listen, and like he throws scripture up in there, like he's like telling the stories up in there, and it'll just really capture your heart. But long story short, but it's just one of those deals. When I heard that name, I was like, you know what? They're bringing quality and truly men. I know you, right? And I know your heart. And then to add more individuals with a heart like yours into this very thing, I was like, this is going to be a mighty move inside of the city of Las Vegas.
I believe that. And that's really their new approach to this as well. Because before it was, anywhere you can cast a seed, get the gospel out there is important.
Right.
But before it was kind of these standalone events in big arenas. They were doing some different things as well. But when they called and said, hey, would Vegas be interested? It wasn't a matter of, hey, can we come to our event in Vegas? It was, hey, where are the places in our city that need the most help? And can we get our churches to rally behind it? And, some of the people you've had on your show, I mean, just really people who are in the trenches in this city are like, I know it's a short notice thing, but we really believe this opportunity, not just for this year, but annually, to be able to capitalize on those great ball players coming in, people of faith, be able to tell their testimony, impact our city. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The event itself, it's going to be on July 14th. It's on a Sunday night. Doors will open at 5. The event happens at 6. But a secondary piece to this is with Convoy of Hope being a partner. So we're handing out 600 pairs of shoes, over 600 pairs of shoes, 500 backpacks for the kids, and then 2,500 bags of groceries as well. Ooh. We're going to be doing it at Chaparral High School. So we're going to have kids from all over the valley, but that area of Las Vegas could use a little extra attention.
Yes, they need some love and love and attention. Yes,
that's right. And so the principal of Chaparral High School been awesome to work with. We're going to hopefully have about 2,500 people at this event. Right. It's going to be a very clear call where hope comes from and the gospel of Jesus Christ. But we're going to love on people no matter what and have a good time that night.
Yeah, no, dude, it's just really amazing that how the NBA has gotten, like, they're behind this all the way. Reaching out to Steve, right, and saying, hey, we want to bring you in, and we want you to catapult this and be the catalyst of this. But then also, too, the heart of him is to reach out and say, hey, we're not coming just to Vegas and just doing an event. We're not doing that. No. We're coming to Vegas, and we're saying we need your help in letting us know where this can benefit your city.
Yeah. How can this event serve you? Because the kingdom of God is not built on events, but anywhere we can mobilize people to really be able to pour into their lives. So churches are coming to the site. They can sign up to get their own tickets, which is awesome because as they hand out their tickets, then the follow-up comes through Pastor Dada and your leadership at your church. It's not just some nebulous thing, hip, hip, hooray, check the numbers off. It's how can we get our churches invested even more into the neighborhoods they're a part of. And so very excited for how they've set that up. All the pastors, I think, saw the same heart I saw in this group because Vegas is full of events, right?
Yes,
it's not like we need more things to do or more events, except for those with the right heart, connected to the right local churches and places. God's going to do some amazing things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're right. Like to hear because we were all in a room, and listening to the heart of Steve there and you as well, and also his team. And it really was. He was like, listen, and he even said, like, I don't want. This is an event like I was. He was like, we prayed about even doing this when they called, And he was like, hey, let me reach out to some people that I know that have the same heart. And he began to, you being one of the people he reached out to, also to Pastor Mike Hatch as well.
Elvin Hayes.
Yeah, dude, I love, man, listen, dude, that's my guy right there. Hey, dude, he was supposed to be
here.
Yeah, I know. We should have brought the sign and then put his head up on there, you know what I'm saying? Have the big chocolate, just the chocolate man there.
So good. His dad, top 50 player all time in the NBA.
Right.
And so he's well connected to a lot of retired players in town and other. Right. I really think the momentum behind this, and Elvin had been praying for years. Man, there's this opportunity because he's tied into the NBA through his dad and through a lifetime of growing up in the league, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He just knew so many people. He had been praying for what can we do to make an impact around Summer League in Las Vegas, because it's a thing now. I mean, Summer League is a thing.
Yeah.
And so when this came to the table through Steve Right Heart, man, he's all about it. I wish he was here. Next time we'll bring his little noggin on a stick.
We'll be like, hey, and you got to do a voice who is like, hey, how you guys doing?
Really drop that bass down there. Coming to you with Kingdom Music.
Right? Come on to the event. Come on. But no, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those deals where, you know what God is doing, and then let's talk about Convoy of Hope in this as well. Like you mentioned, they're doing over 500 backpacks.
Yeah, 500 backpacks, almost 700 pairs of shoes for the kids, all for the kids, and then groceries for the families as well. Because we want to minister to the kids, NBA players coming, dunk teams, a whole bit. Future years, we're looking at layering in 3-on-3 tournaments and other things. Don't have the time for that this year, but really investing in our neighborhoods and our kids beyond just the event, right? But they're providing so many great resources. Convoy's done a lot of great events in Las Vegas over the years, making an impact. Again, same heart through local churches, right? How can we provide an opportunity to minister to families in a way that churches then can take up that mantle, right?
Yeah.
Minister to that family. And so 2,500 bags of groceries going back with them as well. Man, it's going to be fun to try to get through all that up front, right? Trying on shoes for 600 kids, is going to be a thing, but it's going to be awesome. I mean, a great event tied to great resources and the gospel at the center of it all. Yeah,
because you think, too, it's like the gospel being there, and then also, too, isn't there supposed to be like a prayer team there as well?
Prayer team. I mean, we get all that's covered, right? We're going to have so many opportunities if people want to get involved and even volunteer, not just even in the distribution, but on the prayer team or altar workers, because there will be a call to the front at the end, after all the stories are told and the gospel's presented. And so if people want to get involved, they can go to the website too. The website where they can either get tickets, for their church to hand out or whatever the setup is jamminevents.com.
Right.
So you can register your church, get your tickets. You can sign up for volunteer spots. Always can use volunteer spots.
Yes.
And we're going to see that we're like 2.5 weeks away from the time we're recording this to when it's going to happen. So
no, dude, I'm super.
Jump on in.
Come on, we need your help. We need your help, right? Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And so here's the deal, because with an event like this, there is a great need of, and we kind of touched on it, volunteers. And it's like, hey, you can go to this event and you can sign up to be a participant, to help to be a volunteer, or you can just come as someone to watch. But here's the part: there is a great need for the volunteers, and I know that because I saw the numbers. I saw the numbers. So here's a question: what areas inside of for this event? Where can people volunteer? Like, what are obviously the shoes and stuff, but what are some other areas where people can come in and volunteer? Because there might be somebody that's watching, they're like, you know what? I worked at the Welcome Center at my local church here. And so it's like, where can a person like that, volunteer at?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a perfect approach. Convoy of Hope has a way of doing even their big events where all those who are showing up for the events are the guests of honor, right? I've seen them. They're such an amazing group to work with. You know, some other ways of doing things, you know, you get players or VIP people in, and you kind of treat them different, right? You put them in the green room, they get the sparkling water,
Right.
you know,
Not
they
the
just
flat
kind of coming in to volunteer. And I'm not going to throw that under the bus, but their approach is, look, anyone who's coming to help, we're here to show these people who are showing up for the event, or getting the groceries, everything else, that they're the guest of honor at the event.
Right.
So we need volunteers, and there'll be spaces when you go to sign up that'll go, we need this many people in these specific areas.
Right.
So you'll get to see that, but almost like greeters, working the line, really, you know, caring for people, investing in conversations with them while they're in line to get their shoes and other places. Obviously, all the staging of the thing and tearing it down. Altar workers, people who are going to be praying for, you know, for families and everything else. There's going to be a lot of ways that if you're already a volunteer at your church in any way, chances are you're going to see a place just like that where you can register and sign up. Yeah,
it's just like you think this event should it'd be an extension of their local church.
That's right. That's really what it's built to do.
Really going out. And there was something that that Convoy of Hope was talking about, and how they said, hey, and you mentioned it, was as people are waiting in line, don't let them just stand there alone.
Yeah.
Like, go out, have a conversations with them.
That's right.
You know, like speaking of Convoy of Hope and something like that, like you know, you've worked many events and everything, and like I said, like for Free International, you guys go out and you guys do amazing work. When somebody, what is the difference of touching people in line and not touching people in line, as far as what you've experienced throughout your years of ministry?
Yeah, I mean, we even teach our team, you know, even though we have tasks a lot of times, you know, we got 35 kids we're looking for. Obviously, we want to find those kids. Right. But we teach our team always, just in general, you never step over one need to get to another, right? And just, I think, especially in a hospitality town like we have, it's very hospitable when people are on the clock, you know, because there's tips involved, there's other things.
Yes.
But when you punch out, that changes. Our city changes. And I think people feel isolated, and those who maybe have needs for groceries and other things find themselves off and just in lines,
just
waiting.
Forgotten about.
They're just another person in that line. So to really make eye contact with somebody and, you know, really invest in their story and their relationship, being available to pray is everything relationally. I think we all feel that way too. I mean, you know, I'm a minister, I'm an outgoing guy, you're an outgoing guy, but there's just times you need somebody to see you.
Yeah.
Right?
As
and
a person.
See you, right? And I'm always struck by that whole verse in Scripture where the lady washes Jesus' feet, wipes it with her hair, and he says to his disciples and the people around the table, he goes, "Do you see her? Do you see her?" Right? So that whole recognition of, okay, we see we're hoping 2,500 people there. You know, obviously there's going to be a lot of people of faith bringing families, and you know that, but there's going to be a lot of people just waiting in that line. They need what's being given out. But they also need a great relationship, somebody to engage with them in the moment.
Yeah, because you think people showing up to something like that, we don't know the condition. We don't know if they're just trying to get away from something that's like just terrible at home, and to take a moment to have a conversation, because you know it's one of those deals where I recall being at a church, and I was on staff there, and this guy, he just leaves church, right? And what happens is like he leaves and I see him, I chase him down. I'm like, hey bro, I'm like you're leaving, like the word hasn't even started yet. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah. And then I was like, are you okay? He was like, no. You know, and I was still early in my faith. And I was like, you know what, bro, let me get you in the hands of one of the pastors, man.
Good for you.
And it was one of those deals, is being seen. What I learned at having a conversation with this guy a couple months later, he said, hey, if you didn't stop me, I was going to go home and I was going to commit suicide. I was going to end my life. Wow. And he said, I told God, Lord, if I'm supposed to live, let somebody see me. Let somebody see me. Yeah. And it's one of those deals. I love what you guys are doing, because you're like, hey, we're going to touch them in line, because we need them to know that they're seen.
Yeah.
That they're seen.
We all need to be seen.
Yeah.
Right? Look, we need to get those lines and people in to go to the event, but that's why we need people who are willing to work the line as that process is coming. Not as a way just to get people through a line. I've been to, you've probably been to churches like this before. I've been to churches where the greeter is grabbing my hand to shake it and pulling me through the door at the same time and looking at the next. And I get what
it's like,
they're
come on,
doing.
get up here, come on.
Yeah, just kind of yanking me through the door, not even seeing you in the eyes, right?
Right.
Again, I get that, but events like this, they're our guests of honor. We want to love on them, want to treat them like human beings that are seen, just like you said.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, we want them to know that we care about them because God cares about them.
Right.
And here's what God did for them.
Yeah.
We're here because God, had this message for you today.
Right.
And then on the backside, it's not like sayonara, see you later, we're never going to see you again. How do we get them plugged into our places of ministry and faith and see them move forward with Jesus?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So here's a question as we get ready to wrap up. Can you give a rundown of what this day is going to look like? I know it starts at doors open up at 5, starts at 6. At 6 o'clock, what can people start expecting until they leave? Like once they get out of the car and they get into the line until they get back in the car, what does that look like for them?
Yeah, well, if you're a volunteer group coming in, when you register, you'll see what your blocks are to show up and be a part. But when the gates open, 5 o'clock, we're looking right in there. They're going to come in. It's at a high school. Right, so we got them coming in from both locations on both sides where the parking lot is on either side of the high school. They'll come through the gate and immediately they'll be given tickets and things like that. That'll get them, the shoes and the groceries. And up front, before they ever enter the gym, it's going to be hot.
Yes.
So we're going to try to get them through this process into a nice cold gym. But they'll have their shoes in the backpack already with them when they go into the event.
Right.
Starting right at 6 o'clock, man, the music starts thumping, the dunk teams start going. Ooh. Really, just very high energy and fun. They're going to raise the roof on that place, whether it's Kingdom Music or whether that gorilla's dunking from the three-point line and whatever's going on.
On the trampoline's like, woo!
Yeah, all meant to just really keep that energy high. And then as that event goes on, players will step up to the mic, give a little bit of their background, their testimony, what God has done for them. Right. And working to the end with a final, about a 10-minute clear presentation of the gospel. So since we're going to have so many players giving their testimony, you don't want each of the players to give a call to the gospel each time, right? Right. Just getting their stories out there. Here's my background, my testimony, closing with basically a come to front. If this is a message that resonates with you, Jesus speaking to you in your heart. And then after that's done and things start to let loose, the groceries will be handed out on the way out the door. Probably starting about 8:45 there when they start leaving the place. So if you're coming to the event, basically it'll be about 6 to 8:30 for the event. Going to be awesome. Should be great. And if you're a local businessman or something like that, want to help invest in this event, you can get a hold of that at the website as well. Right. The group that started this is heavily investing in this. They didn't come to Vegas and ask for anything. Same with Convoy of Hope. Convoy of Hope is providing all the groceries, the shoes, the backpacks at no cost to the churches in town to invest in our city. And so if anyone wants to help underwrite that, that'd be appreciated, I'm sure, as well.
Absolutely. So thank you, Mike, for coming up on Las Vegas United today. Hey, we want to thank you guys for tuning in just the same. If you, once again, on July 14th, right?
July 14th.
Yes, it's a Jammin event. This is an NBA summer league event as well. We want to make sure that we got this into your hands because we want to see you there because this is what God is doing. He is coming and bringing people into the city to partner with individuals inside the city to go ahead and bring the spirit of unity to you and I. So that way our entire city can benefit. Other than that, you guys have a blessed night, and we thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Our show is hosted by Pastor Dada Presley of Connection Church, Shelby. To learn more about him and his ministry, please visit myconnectionlv.org. The guest this week is Mike Bartell with Free International. To get your free tickets to Jammin Las Vegas 2024, go to jamminevents.com. Las Vegas United is produced by CTN Vegas. For more information about CTN Vegas and our show, please visit ctnvegas.com.